Hello, everyone, and welcome back to EasyTalk English. We're so happy you're joining us today. In this episode, we're talking about two very common English expressions that many learners confuse: look for and find. At first, they seem to mean the same thing because both are connected to searching for something. But as you'll discover today, they actually describe two completely different stages of the same situation.
I remember making this mistake quite often. Whenever I wanted to say I was searching for something, I'd sometimes use find because I thought it simply meant to search. Then I heard native speakers say, I'm looking for my phone, and I realized they weren't using the same word at all.
That's a very common experience. The confusion usually happens because many languages use one general idea for both searching and finding, but English makes a clear distinction. One expression describes the process of searching, and the other describes what happens after the search is successful.
The good news is that you don't need to memorize lots of grammar rules. Once you understand one simple idea, choosing between look for and find becomes much more natural. In fact, you'll probably start noticing this pattern everywhere, in movies, podcasts, and everyday conversations.
Throughout today's episode, we'll use one very simple picture to help you remember the difference. Think of searching as a journey. At the beginning, you're trying to locate something. At the end, you finally found it. Those are two different moments, and English uses two different expressions to describe them.
We'll also talk about a mistake that many learners make without realizing it. If you've ever said something like, I'm finding my keys while you were still searching for them, don't worry, you're definitely not alone. And today you'll learn why native speakers don't normally say it that way.
So let's get started. As always, our goal isn't just to learn new vocabulary, it's to understand how native speakers think. Because once you understand the idea behind these expressions, using them correctly becomes much easier. Before we compare look for and find, let's start with one simple idea. Imagine you're trying to find your phone, but you can't remember where you left it. First, you walk around the house, checking the table, the sofa, and your backpack. Later, you finally see it sitting on the kitchen counter. Those are two different moments, and English uses different expressions for each one.
I really like that example because we've all been there. When I'm checking different rooms and opening drawers, I'm still searching. Then the moment I see my phone, everything changes. The situation feels completely different because the search is over.
Exactly. That's the key idea for today's lesson. Think of it as a journey. At the beginning of the journey, you're trying to locate something because you don't know where it is. At the end of the journey, you've reached your destination because you finally found what you were looking for.
So instead of thinking about two vocabulary words, I can think about two stages of the same story. First comes the search, and then comes the success. That already feels much easier than trying to memorize dictionary definitions.
That's exactly how native speakers think about it. They don't choose between look for and find because the words have similar meanings. They choose based on where they are in the timeline. Are they still searching, or has the search already finished?
I think that's a really useful question to remember. Whenever I'm about to use one of these expressions, I can simply ask myself, am I still looking, or have I already found it? The answer tells me which expression I need.
Perfect. So keep that picture in your mind as we continue. Searching is the journey. Finding is the destination. In the next two parts, we'll look at each stage separately, and you'll see why this simple timeline makes the difference between look for and find much easier to understand. Let's begin with look for. This expression has one very simple meaning. Look for describes the action of searching because you haven't found something yet. In other words, you're still in the middle of the search. You don't know where the object is, and you're trying to locate it.
I think that's a really easy picture to remember. If I'm walking around my apartment checking different rooms for my keys, I'm looking for them. The search is still happening, and I don't know where the keys are yet. That's exactly why I use look for.
Exactly. Listen to some common examples. I'm looking for my glasses. She's looking for a new apartment. We're looking for a good restaurant. In every sentence, the search is still in progress. The speaker hasn't reached the result yet.
And it doesn't always have to be a physical object. People often say they're looking for a job, looking for information, or looking for an answer. Even though those things aren't objects you can hold, the idea is exactly the same. You're searching because you don't have them yet.
That's a great point. Look for is all about the process, not the outcome. It tells your listener what you're doing right now. It doesn't tell them whether you'll succeed. At this stage, the search is still continuing.
I like thinking of it as an unfinished story. When I hear someone say, I'm looking for my wallet, I immediately know the story isn't over. I naturally expect them to keep searching, and I'm curious to find out whether they'll eventually discover it.
Exactly. So here's the first half of today's memory trick. Look for means you're searching because you haven't found the thing yet. Whenever you're talking about the process of searching, Look for is almost always the natural choice. It keeps the listener focused on what you're doing, not on the result. Now let's move on to find. If look for describes the search, then find describes what happens when the search is successful. The moment you discover the thing you've been searching for, you move from the process to the result. That's exactly when native speakers use find.
I like thinking of it as the happy ending to the story. A few minutes ago, I was looking for my keys because I didn't know where they were. Then I checked my jacket pocket, and there they were. At that moment, I could finally say, I found my keys.
Exactly. Listen to these examples. I found my phone. We finally found the restaurant. She found a new job. In every sentence, the search has already finished. The speaker isn't searching anymore because they've reached the result.
And just like look for, find isn't only used for physical objects. You can find a solution to a problem, find useful information online, or find the answer to a difficult question. The idea is always the same. You were searching before, and now you've succeeded.
That's a really important point. Find doesn't tell us anything about how long the search took. Maybe it took 5 seconds, or maybe it took 5 months. The only thing that matters is that the search is over, and you found what you wanted.
I think that's why find feels so satisfying. When someone says, I finally found it, you immediately know the story has reached its conclusion. There's no need to keep looking because the goal has already been achieved.
Exactly. So here's the second half of today's memory trick. Find is all about the result. It tells your listener that the search has been successful. Whenever you're talking about the moment of success rather than the search itself, find is the natural word to use. Now, let's put look for and find side by side. This is where many learners suddenly realize that these two expressions aren't really describing different situations. They're describing different moments in the same situation. The difference isn't the object you're talking about. The difference is where you are in the timeline.
I think that's the part that finally made everything click for me. Imagine I can't find my phone. At first, I'm walking around the house checking every room. Later, I discover it's on the kitchen table. Nothing about the phone has changed. The only thing that changes is the stage of the story.
Exactly. At the beginning, you naturally say, I'm looking for my phone. You're still searching because you don't know where it is. Then, once you pick it up from the table, you say, I found my phone. The search has ended successfully, so the expression changes too.
The same thing happens in lots of everyday situations. A family might be looking for a hotel while they're driving around a new city. A little later, after checking a few places, they can finally say, we found a great hotel. It's the same story, but two different moments.
That's why these expressions can't usually replace each other. If you say, I'm looking for my keys, everyone understands that you don't have them yet. But if you say, I found my keys, everyone immediately knows the search is over. Each expression tells the listener exactly where you are in the process.
I really like thinking of it as a timeline. Look for comes before success, and find comes after success. Once I picture those two stages, I don't have to guess which expression to use anymore.
That's exactly the habit we want to build. Don't ask yourself which word means Tim. Instead, ask yourself, am I still searching, or have I already found it? That one simple question will help you choose between look for and find almost every time. Now, let's talk about one of the most common mistakes English learners make with these two expressions. Many people say, I'm finding my keys when they're still searching for them. It sounds reasonable if you translate directly from another language, but it's not how native speakers usually describe that situation.
I actually made that mistake myself. If I couldn't find my wallet, I'd say, I'm finding my wallet. In my mind, I meant that I was in the middle of searching. But later I realized that native speakers would almost always say, I'm looking for my wallet.
Exactly. The important thing to remember is that find usually describes the result, not the ongoing search. While you're checking your pockets, looking under the sofa, or opening drawers, you're still looking for something. You haven't reached the successful ending yet.
Then everything changes the moment you discover it. As soon as I see my wallet on the table, I stop saying I'm looking for my wallet. Instead, I naturally say I found my wallet. The search is finished, so I move from the process to the result.
That's exactly how native speakers think. They don't usually use find to describe the search itself. They use it to announce success. That's why I'm finding my keys sounds unusual when you simply mean you're still searching around the house.
I think the easiest way to avoid this mistake is to imagine a movie. If the character is opening drawers and checking every room, they're looking for something. When they finally smile, pick it up and say, here it is, they found it. The scene has changed.
That's a perfect way to remember it. Don't choose the word based on the object you're talking about. Choose it based on the stage of the story. If the search is still happening, use look for. If the search has ended successfully, use find.
Once you start thinking about it that way, this mistake becomes much easier to avoid. You're no longer translating the word team. You're simply asking yourself, am I still searching or have I already succeeded? The answer tells you which expression to use.
Now that we've covered the basic difference, let's talk about how native speakers use look for and find in everyday conversations. The interesting thing is that they don't stop to think about grammar. They simply know whether they're talking about the search or the result, and the right expression comes naturally.
I think that's because they're following the timeline without realizing it. If they're still trying to get something, they naturally say they're looking for it. Once they've got it, they automatically switch to found. It's a very natural way of describing what happened.
You'll hear look for in lots of common expressions. People say they're looking for a job, looking for information, looking for a place to eat, or looking for a parking space. In every example, the search is still happening and they haven't reached the goal yet.
And you'll hear find just as often. Someone might say, I found a great restaurant. We finally found a parking space. Or she found the information she needed. These expressions all tell us that the search has already been successful.
Here's a simple memory trick that I still like to use. Imagine a movie. While the main character is walking around, opening doors and asking questions, they're looking for something. The moment they smile and say, here it is, they found it. The action changes because the story reaches its ending.
I like that picture because it's so easy to remember. I don't need to think about grammar rules anymore. I just ask myself, am I still in the middle of the movie or have I reached the ending? That answer tells me whether I need look for or find.
Exactly. And the more English you listen to, the more these expressions will start to sound automatic. After a while, looking for a job or finding a solution won't feel like vocabulary you've memorized. They'll simply feel like natural English.
That's really our goal. We want you to think about the situation instead of translating word by word. Once you focus on the stage of the story rather than the dictionary meaning, choosing between look for and find becomes much easier.
Let's bring everything together with a real-life story. I always think vocabulary is easier to remember when you hear it in a natural conversation, instead of reading a list of definitions. Alex, can you think of a time when you naturally used both look for and find?
Oh, definitely. A few weeks ago, I was getting ready to leave for work when I realized I couldn't find my wallet. I started looking for it everywhere. I checked my desk, my backpack, and even the kitchen, but it wasn't in any of those places.
I think we've all had mornings like that. When you were checking different places, you were still looking for your wallet because you didn't know where it was. At that point, the search was still going on, so look for was exactly the right expression.
Exactly. After a few more minutes, I remembered that I'd worn a different jacket the day before. I checked the pocket, and there it was. I finally found my wallet, and I could leave for work without being late.
That's a perfect example because the timeline is so clear. At the beginning, you were looking for your wallet. At the end, you found it. The object never changed, but the stage of the story changed, so the expression changed too.
The funny thing is that while I was searching, I almost said, I'm finding my wallet. Then I remembered today's lesson. I realized I was still in the middle of the search, so the natural sentence was, I'm looking for my wallet.
That's exactly how native speakers think. They don't focus on the object. They focus on whether the search is still happening or whether it's already finished. Once you understand that timeline, choosing between look for and find becomes much more natural.
And honestly, I think that's the easiest way to remember today's lesson. Look for belongs at the beginning of the story, and find belongs at the end. Once you picture those two moments, it's much harder to mix them up.
Before we finish today's lesson, let's do a little practice together. Don't think of this as a test. Just listen to each situation and ask yourself one simple question. Am I talking about the search or am I talking about the result? Once you answer that, choosing the correct expression becomes much easier.
I really like that question because it keeps everything simple. Instead of translating the word Tim, I'm thinking about where I am in the story. Have I already found the thing or am I still trying to find it? That's really all I need to know.
Let's start with an easy example. Imagine you can't find your glasses anywhere. You're checking the table, your bag, and your bedroom. Which expression sounds natural? I'm looking for my glasses. That's the correct answer because the search is still happening.
Now imagine that a few minutes later you notice your glasses on the bookshelf. At that moment, what would you say? I found my glasses. The search is over, so now we're talking about the result instead of the process.
Here's another situation. Your friends are walking around a new city because they want to find a good cafe. While they're still walking, we say they're looking for a cafe. Once they finally choose one and sit down inside, we can say they found a great cafe.
Now let's correct a very common mistake. Suppose someone says, I'm finding my wallet. Does that sound natural? Not really. If the search is still in progress, the natural sentence is, I'm looking for my wallet. Then after they discover it, they can say, I found my wallet.
If those examples made sense to you, that's a great sign. It means you're no longer choosing the words based on translation. You're following the timeline of the situation, and that's exactly how native speakers think.
Exactly. So the next time you want to use one of these expressions, don't ask yourself which word means Tim. Instead, ask yourself, am I still searching or have I already found it? That one simple question will help you choose the right expression almost every time.
We've reached the end of today's conversation, so let's take a moment to review the main idea. Look for and find are connected, but they describe two different stages of the same situation. Look for describes the process of searching because you haven't found something yet. Find describes the successful result after the search is over.
I think today's lesson becomes much easier when you picture it as a timeline. At the beginning, you're still searching, so you say you're looking for something. At the end, you've succeeded, so you say you found it. Once you think about those two stages, choosing the right expression feels much more natural.
We also talked about one very common mistake. Many learners say, I'm finding my keys when they're still searching. Now you know why native speakers don't usually say that. While you're searching, the natural expression is, I'm looking for my keys. After you discover them, you can happily say, I found my keys.
And don't forget our simple memory trick. Look for is the journey, find is the destination. Whenever you're unsure, don't think about translation. Just ask yourself, am I still searching or have I already found it? That one question will usually give you the correct answer.
Before we say goodbye, here's a simple challenge for you. Write 3 sentences using look for to describe things you're searching for. Then rewrite those same ideas as successful endings using find. It's a great way to practice thinking about the 2 different stages of the same story.
And if you'd like to practice with other learners, share one of your sentence pairs in the comments. It's always interesting to see how people use new vocabulary in real situations, and you might learn some useful expressions from other listeners too.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We hope this episode has helped you understand the difference between look for and find much more clearly. Keep listening, keep practicing, and remember that every conversation is another opportunity to improve your English.
Exactly. Don't worry if you still make mistakes sometimes. That's a natural part of learning any language. Thanks for joining us today. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode of Easy Talk English. Bye, everyone.